Hello. So I have spent the last 10 days or so creating a big batch of Happy Mail based on a junk journal pocket card ephemera tutorial that Joey DeFee released last week. So I took her basic tutorial and then ran with it. I did 15 pieces. I have a large Happy Mail list that I don't do except for maybe every other month I send out mail, and that's because I kind of like to send something artful. I'm not really good with letter writing, but I am into making things. So this is what I do for my Happy Mail. So each of the pieces that I made have the same structure. So I'll go through and show this one in depth. But then each of them are completely unique. Other than that, they have different pictures. I use different paint colors, paint techniques. And I just kind of tried to be as matchy as I could within each individual piece. I don't use digikits, anything like that. Number one, I don't have a printer, a color printer. I don't want one, I don't need one. And number two, for me, working in junk journals, doing art journaling, all that kind of stuff, the part that gives me pleasure is creating the art from scratch. And I just don't understand. No, for me, using a digikit, somebody else's art that has already put together a theme and has figured all of that kind of stuff out, it doesn't do it for me. So I tend to use a lot of paint and pens, and I'll stay within the same book I'm tearing up to try to make my theme that way. In this particular project, I also used my Cricut, which I just got last month. So I'm kind of working out how to use it still, what I can use it for. This was a really good opportunity. I used it in several different ways, which I'll talk about. Yeah, so let me go through one kind of in detail, and then the rest I'm just going to do a simple flip to show the different art techniques I used and the way it turned out for my, for myself, since I'm sending these all away, except for this one is the one I'm keeping for my, I have a junk journal that's filled with things I've made and ideas and tutorial and stuff like that. So that's going to go in my journaling junk journal. But the rest I'm not going to see ever again. So I'm using this video as a way to kind of capture what I did. Okay, so let's take a look. So Joey's tutorial covered how to make this pocket card. And she also did a little collaging on hers. So the basic structure is it's got a flip top. It's got a tuck to keep the flip down. When you open it, we've got pocket 1, pocket 2, pocket 3, and a side pocket. She did do a collage. She did a collage on one panel in the front, and then on the inside she also did a collage. I went with, I'm not very good at collaging yet. It's something I am wanting to work on. So I stuck to one collage. I did a Cricut focal piece, and then I had my pockets, which I tried to make a little bit cute, and then I just did some neutral, back pages. On the other pieces, the ones I'm not keeping, I've attached my note to my recipient on this page, which I'll show. And then on the ones that are going out, I also did put a little bit of some stickers and some ephemera. I'll show that as well. I was gonna leave it at that, and then I started getting nervous that it wasn't gonna be thick enough to protect the envelopes from the post office, especially since most of these are going out of the country. They're gonna go through many different machines. I thought that this brad that holds my flip tuck in place was gonna penetrate and ruin the envelopes. I've had mail lost before because of things like that. I think that's why it was lost. I think my envelopes got torn up, and I didn't want that to happen with these because these took me so long. I probably spent roughly 30 hours all told, so each one probably took me 2 to 3 hours each. Because I did it in a batch, it went a little bit faster. You know, I was able to do one set of techniques and then move on to the next. So that does make it go a little bit faster. But in any case, I got nervous that it wasn't thick enough and that it was gonna pierce the envelope. So I elected to also do an insert in the big pocket, which is just a journaling card. There's not a lot to it. I mean, it looks busy, you know, when looking at it right now, but there's really not a lot to it. So each of these has an insert journaling card, which the back is blank. It's just cardstock. And then I stamped each one with, I took a corrugated cardboard box and I peeled off the top layer so that it was left with just the ridges. So I used actually I used my jelly plate as my stamp pad, just acrylic white, stamped down that piece of cardboard and then stamped it onto the cardstock to get lines so that, you know, if somebody wanted to journal, they've got lines now. This shape itself I made in my Cricut. There's actually 2 pieces for each insert. The back cardstock that's lined, and then on the front I used a piece of cardstock that I didn't really like. You know, I buy these packs of cardstock because there's 1 or 2 designs I really like. I know everybody out there experiences this. And then the ones I don't like, I cover. So this one got covered. I've used fabric. I've got all this great fabric from many, many years ago when I thought I was gonna be a quilter, which I never did. So I decided to start using it for my junk journals. So I just tore up little pieces. I glued it down with a glue stick, and then you can see that I've stitched over the top, just crazy stitching. This one I ended up leaving a lot of threads in. I don't know, I like it. And then this little, I thought it was too plain. I wanted some kind of focal, but not too much. So this piece that's glued on, again, it's from my Cricut. Originally that was gonna be my front tuck for the top, but it was too delicate. So I'm like, well, you know, I have these cut already, might as well use that. So that became kind of a semi-focal. My thought with this whole thing, especially because, like I said, I'm sending this out to a group of people who are also crafters. My thought behind it is that they can use this in their own junk journals. So, you know, keeping it plain, they could put their own focal piece, they can match it to whatever theme they have, or if they want to send it off to someone else, they can. And same thing, it's plain enough-ish. I know it's a little nuts, that they can use it in what's best for them, not what was best for me. Yeah, so that's the basic structure. What I had done is so I followed Joey's tutorial, got it all together, got it glued, and then I took my jelly plate. I did jelly prints. Everything that's colorful on all these pieces you'll see is from gel plate, which I did after I assembled, but before I sewed. So I did jelly plate, then I did the collages. The Cricut cuts that I did felt a little plain to me. The paper that I used is cardstock, which I used Distress inks on. And then I did some, you know, water resist. You can squirt them with water, then lift, and you get some really cool, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's little texture looking pieces. And then over the top of that, I used paint marker. Some of them I used gouache paint. I'll point that out. Some of them I used water-based markers, Tombows, which you can then hit with water and make it kind of looks like watercolor almost. Really pretty. I'm so thrilled with how some of these turned out, which is another reason why I'm making this this little video because I want to remember what I did, and so I can do it again. Let's see. Inside is just, like I said, neutral collage back papers. Some of the book page that I used originally are visible on some of them, not all of them. Pockets are just scrap paper that I used a circle cut and then rounded the edges because I got a punch for that. Yeah, so let's just go through. If there's anything that stands out on any of it, I'll plan it out, but mostly I'm just gonna be quiet and see what I did. This is the note that I made. Each of them have a note. I printed this honeycomb paper. I dyed it with Distress ink, let it dry, hit it with some white gesso. Still was not able to really see the writing. So in the end, I wrote it on the back side of the paper. So, you know, they can use the front, they can tear up these letters and use it in their own junk journals. Each letter is also just affixed with washi tape, which easily pulls up so they can get rid of the letter and give this to somebody else or do whatever they want with it. So this is an example of one where I've got gouache paint. And let's see, I think the pinks on this is gouache, and then I use marker on the outside and then hit it with water again, so it blended really nicely. And then I also used the paint marker on that one. You can see the stuff I've shoved in these. Everyone gets a sticker. This is a felt butterfly, that's also a sticker. Tickets, a little playing card, and some playing card back there. I also stamped the corners with white archival ink. It was looking pretty plain to me, so I just added that in as a little something extra. I really like the water lily. I love the slug washi tape. Oh my goodness. Really like how this one came out, just because with the inking and the way that the cut came out on the Cricut, it almost looks like an ombre effect. Yeah, I like it. Oh, and I did do the inking before I did the Cricut cuts. I did the detail work after. This paper up here is the wrapper of this really great vegan chocolate. It's honey, so I guess it's not strictly vegan, but mostly plant-based, I guess. Really love how this one came out too with all the colors. It's mostly gouache in the background, and then I added the magenta marker on top and used water again. So it really blended everything super nice. There's that slug washi. See, bubble wrap, jelly plate bubble wrap. I think this is my only bird. All the rest are flowers. All these images that I used in this collage came from a North American nature book from the 50s or 60s. It's another great washi tape. That's a Garden of Skulls. Got it off of Etsy. That one came out pretty cool too. Sounds like I lost my music. Last one. Yep, so that's it. A lot of work. It was a lot of fun.